All right, so we've been doing this revolution segments for a couple of weeks now. And then I realized, hey, I forgot to tell you why we're doing the revolution. Now, look, I don't really have to tell you because you already know. You can't stand the corruption. The politicians never work for us. And we're trying to get our democracy back so the politicians will actually work for us. But I want to show it to you in numbers and in facts and in statements from even politicians themselves. So to give you a sense of how corrupted this country has become, how much money did we spend in the 2024 election? Now, when I say we, I don't mean us, okay, the regular average American. No, I mean the donor class. How much did they spend? $15.9 billion. Okay, so now let me ask you guys this. And if you're watching and you're part of mainstream media, man, would I love for you to answer this, but there's no way in the world you could answer it. So do you think that the $16 billion was for charity? Like, oh, you know what, golly gee, I gave to cancer research, then try to figure out how to beat heart disease. Oh, I know, I'll give it to politicians. Because politicians, man, they need it most of all, and they love the general welfare, and so I gotta help them out, okay? Or, and by the way, who are the people giving the money? Giant corporations, Apple, Facebook, ExxonMobil, Chevron, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and private companies like the Koch enterprises, okay? And companies you've never even heard of, right? And by the way, now, allies of foreign governments, or that's been around for quite some time, at least with one particular government. Okay, so what do they want in return? So one idea is charity. They're just giving people, they don't want anything back. No, the good people at Pfizer, they don't want a competitive advantage over their competitors. They don't want their monopolies extended from 5 years to 12 years. Wait, they actually literally asked for that, huh? Interesting. They don't want you to not be able to negotiate drug prices and just pay whatever ransom price that they say. Oh, I'm hearing they actually did want that, huh? That's weird, that's interesting. So do you think it's for the general welfare? Do you think it's for their health or our health? No, come on, guys. Unless you're a moronic mainstream media reporter, you all know it's to get what they want. It's an investment. They're literally investing in buying our politicians to serve them instead of you. Now, to every American that's watching this, it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat or where you're on the political spectrum, you think what I just said is super obvious, right? Literally every mainstream media reporter says that's not true. No, they're not buying the politicians. The politicians are having real honest debates. They have different ideology, and these donors just happen to agree with these politicians. It just happened. The politician, oh, look at that. That guy thinks we should give $35 billion every single year, take it from guys who can't afford to pay their rent, having trouble paying for their health care. Their daughter's got cancer. They're worried to death that they're gonna die. Give me your goddamn money. Give me your money. ExxonMobil wants it. $35 billion a year in oil subsidies. But wait a minute, those are the richest companies in the world. Nope, those politicians have decided. They genuinely just loved Chevron and ExxonMobil. Oh, look at that, I agree with you totally. Yes, the average American shouldn't get that money. The giant oil companies, the most profitable companies in the history of the world should get that money. The politicians genuinely believe that. And that's why ExxonMobil gave them money. That's what mainstream media reporters say. How stupid do they sound? They sound like the dumbest people in America, right? Because they're not doing news, they're doing propaganda. They just don't know it. Okay, now, let's talk about, I mentioned pharmaceutical companies. You could fill in any lobby here, but we're trying to lower drug prices because almost literally every single person in the country wants it, unless you work for Big Pharma or you're a greasy, corrupt politician. So how many greasy, corrupt politicians did they bribe legally? Well, let's go to this news report. A 2020 stat analysis found that more than 2/3 of Congress were receiving a check from pharmaceutical companies that year. Huh, 2/3 of Congress. Gee, I wonder why they bought Democrats and Republicans. Gee, I wonder why they bought 2/3 of Congress. I bet it was for general welfare. I am a reporter. All right, more recent data from Open Secrets likewise confirms that a large majority of leaders serving in the US Congress and Senate receive significant contributions from pharmaceutical or health products companies, averaging $45,000 and $47,000 for Republicans and Democrats in the House of Representatives, respectively, and $50,000 and $69,000 for Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. So it costs you a little bit more to buy senators than congressmen, but it's an open auction. And Israel pays a different price, and the defense contractors pay a different price, and the chip manufacturers pay a different price. And they all buy these politicians. And by the way, that explains the mystery of why we have politicians that are so old and feeble, because they are guaranteed return on investment. When you pay off Joe Biden, he's always gonna deliver for you. When you pay off Mitch McConnell, he's so deeply corrupt, he's always gonna pay off for you. Lindsey Graham, Nancy Pelosi, they're all the same. They take the same money from the same donor class. Mitch McConnell and Nancy Pelosi have both raised about $1 billion that they have shared with their fellow Democrats and Republicans. Those are all bribes that they paid out to them. Now everybody remember, oil subsidies, yep, billions of dollars. Oh, the average guy in Kentucky, who cares about him? Let's kick him in the nuts, okay? Who asked about the average voter? You're fired, get out of here. Only people who work for donor class. So 2/3 of Congress includes Democrats and Republicans. We just gave you the actual numbers for the bribes that pharmaceutical companies are willing to pay. How many people in mainstream media call it bribes when they're obviously bribes? Obviously bribes. None, zero. In fact, if you call it bribes, that's outrageous. That's a conspiratorial. Are you doing a conspiracy theory? That ExxonMobil cares about profits? When they obviously care with their big giant oil heart about the American people, and they're doing this on behalf of Americans everywhere. I mean, come on, they sound so stupid that it's like, really, like, what do we, did the short bus drive into New York Times and CNN and MSNBC and off you go. Yeah, ExxonMobil and Lockheed Martin only care about the Americans. The average voters, that's why they're getting all the subsidies and all the wars that they want. Guys, look, to be fair to mainstream media who hates me, I've earned their hatred, and I'm proud that I've earned their hatred because they are giant liars. They lie to you more than anyone online. No, come on, there's crazy people online. I mean, what lunatic tells you that these pharmaceutical companies are bribing 2/3 of Congress for your benefit and not because they want higher drug prices and higher profits? Please spare me. Breaking down the numbers individually, continuing, Jacob has a nice report here. Breaking down the numbers individually, at least 72 of the 100 sitting US senators last year received at least $10,000 from employees or PACs associated with pharmaceutical/health product companies in the 2024 election cycle, with 12 senators receiving more than $100,000, including 7 Democrats and 5 Republicans. So 72% of the senators are taking bribes. I mean, charitable contributions from the drug companies, who I'm sure have our best interest in mind. Oh, I'm sorry, for a second I lapsed into an early Halloween outfit of dumbass mainstream media reporter. No, 72% of the senators in America are bought by this particular lobby. Don't worry, when you tally up all the lobbies, it comes out to about 90 to 95 out of the 100 senators that are bought bitches of the donor class, despise the American voters, and betray them at every turn to serve their donors instead. So we just give you pharmaceutical companies as an example, but good news, you don't have to rely on me. There's a Republican House member, ex-House member, Mo Brooks, very conservative. He gave one of the speeches on January 6th. And he was running for Senate in Alabama, and Lauren Windsor of Undercurrent happened to be there, got him on tape saying this. He said it publicly. Okay, now it reported by no one in mainstream media. I had Lauren on the show. They buried this news because not only do they lie actively to help the powerful, but mainstream media, if you find a news story that is really impactful, they'll work overtime to bury it and make sure that no one ever sees it. Now, Cenk, that's coming. It's got to be hyperbole. I mean, this congressman isn't going to openly, publicly talk about how they're getting bribed by the industries they're supposed to regulate, is he? Let's find out.
Special interest groups run Washington. And I don't mean that metaphorically, I mean literally. Now, here is how it happens. In the House of Representatives, I'll use that as an example because that's where I work. If you want to be chairman of a major committee, you have to purchase it. And the purchase price for a major committee, say like Ways and Means, minimum bid is $1 million. You have to get it from the special interest groups. And with the special interest groups, there is a quid pro quo. If you don't do what they tell you to do, they won't give you the money that finances your chairmanship.
Period. Period. If you want to be a leader in Congress, you must give $1 million in bribes to your fellow Republican or fellow Democrat. And where are you going to get that money? The only place you can get it is from the industry you're pretending to be a watchdog of. But in reality, you have to let them rob all of your voters in return for the bribe you're getting so you could be the leader of that committee. You just heard it from the horse's mouth. And he said, where are we going to get it from? The average Jane or Joe, they don't have that kind of money. So we got to go to the industry and we have to take their bribes in order to advance our careers. New York Times never covered it. CNN never covered it. MSNBC. He's a Republican running for Senate in Alabama. MSNBC's like, shh. Wait, I thought you hated Republicans. That's a perfect opportunity to attack him. He's admitting it publicly, right? Shh. Never talk about the donors. You remember that scathing segment Rachel Maddow did about the donor class? Oh, right, neither do I. Remember the one Sean Hannity did? Oh, right. Neither do I. Now, from time to time, they'll pick one guy from the others. And so Sean Hannity will be like, you will never see Sean Hannity taking on a corporate donor. Never. He works for corporations. Okay, he's part of corporate media. But he'll be like, oh, George Soros. He's the one donor in the country. George Soros. Everybody hate the Jew. I mean Soros. Oh, wait. I thought you guys were the ones handing out all the anti-Semitic trope cards when we talk about AIPAC and the Israeli lobby, but you kiss their ass. But when you find a Jewish donor, George Soros, who's actually friendly to Palestinians, all of a sudden, Soros, he's the only one. Soros is the only problem. Why? Because Soros is actually against the other donors. But you don't have to like Soros. I don't want Soros's money in politics. I don't want it. I don't want any money in politics. And then the MSNBC crowd will be like the Koch brothers. Now they're right about the Koch brothers, and Soros does give a lot of money. But that's the only donor you could find? Where's your scathing editorials on MSNBC or New York Times about the defense contractor that has robbed us blind year after year? The Pentagon can't ever pass an audit. They've literally never passed an audit. They say they can't find $400 billion. And so where's the attack dogs at MSNBC and CNN? Nowhere to be found. When it comes to the donor class, all of a sudden, every single person on cable news agrees. Shh, don't let the voters know. Don't let the voters know. We all work for the powerful. We all work for corporate rule. That's the reality. Okay, now, why are the politicians so obsessed with the money? Well, first of all, they're the worst of us. They're not the best of us. The mainstream media gets you to believe, or at least they did for the boomers for a long time. Not all of them, but some of them. Get you to believe that, oh, these are the best of us. Oh, Senator, oh, here comes the honorable gentleman from Connecticut. No, they're dirtbags. They're the worst of us. If you had honest news media, they would tell you, we found the 520, so I'll give 15 a pass, okay? Some on the right, some mostly on the left, but that's my opinion. But okay, but Massey now, Marjorie Taylor Greene's being honest now. Okay, I could disagree with them, but they're being honest. So they're exempt. But about 95% of Congress, 500 some odd folks, are the very worst people we could find in the country. The ones that raise their hands, say, oh, I'll work. Oh, would you like me to finance a genocide? I'm in. I'd love to finance. Oh, we're murdering children. Love it. Give me money. Give me a bribe, and I'll help you do that. Oh, you're destroying the planet. And for your own pocketbook. Oh, and you want me to give you money on top. I mean, you want me to steal from the American taxpayers and give it to you. Oh, yeah, me, I'll do it, I'll do it. Those are the worst people on earth. And they're 95% of Congress. Wait, nope, let me be clear. 93.65, why do I say that? What percentage of House races does the candidate with more money win? In the year 2022, that number was 93.65%. They're obsessed with the money is because it doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat, doesn't matter if you're conservative or liberal. The only thing that matters is whether you have more money or not. And by the way, did you hear that on mainstream media? Remember when they were like, oh my God, it turns out 94% of the time, whoever was more corrupt and collected more bribes was the one who won the election. Oh my God, we should be really worried about these scumbag politicians. It seems like they're all taking money and working for those guys, and then the guys who take the most bribes win 94% of the time. 0 times said on national television in America, 0. Isn't that amazing that not a single reporter on television noticed collectively trillions of dollars in lobbying, in PAC money, in dark money, etc., at least billions, leading to trillions in subsidies for those same exact companies. The rules being rigged for those same exact companies, but not a single reporter followed the money. They couldn't figure it out. They're still like penciling it out. Right now, they're like in a Washington Post conference room. They're like, what do you think it is? You think the American voters never get what they want because the best people on earth are trying so hard they just can't do it? A filibuster, good answer. Good parliamentarian, great answer. That's probably why. Oh, how about the Republicans? They say that they're a populist, average guy, but they just passed giant corporate tax cuts, giant tax cuts for the rich, giant corporate subsidies, giant extra pork barrel for the Defense Department, etc. How about them? Oh, they meant well. They just coincidentally, they ran out of time before they can get to the average guy, let alone the poor's. They just happen to give all of the money to the richest and most powerful people who happen to bribe them. Well, golly gee, another coincidence. What a coinky-dink. Is that the moronic conversation going on in the newsroom of the New York Times and the Washington Post and CNN and MSNBC? And we know Fox News is lying, we know that. But the other 4 are also lying. They're just better at it. They're more sophisticated. Oh, Joe Manchin is a moderate. He's against paid family leave. That poll said 84%. He's with the 16% radicals who think that moms should not get any time off after they have a baby. They should go right back to the assembly line, right back into the coal mines. That is a radical. Joe Manchin is one of the biggest radicals in this country, but he's a radical corporatist. So shh. Instead, CNN and New York Times will label him a moderate. What kind of a moderate agrees with 16% of the country and disagrees with 84% of the country? Please tell me why you're all liars at the New York Times, why you're all liars at CNN. Please tell me why. No, but I found an excuse. Joe Manchin is from a red state, but he's a Democrat. That gives me the excuse to call him a moderate. Show me one policy position that he was a moderate on. Don't tell me gun control, that's the easiest one. And he gets paid and bribed to do that too. And even if he doesn't get bribed, yeah, I get it, it's culturally different in West Virginia. Outside of that one fig leaf that you have, go ahead, subsidies to oil companies. Him and his daughter drove out jobs from West Virginia to serve a pharmaceutical donor as someone who was literally paying off his daughter. And on top of that, Joe Manchin owns a coal company. How many times did CNN or New York Times tell you, hey, this son of a bitch owns a coal company? So as he's passing bills that get subsidies to coal companies, he's literally paying himself. That's how corrupt he is. That's why he lives on a yacht. None, 0. The liars in mainstream media, their job is to protect the corruption. They're the getaway driver in this corrupt system. I loathe the politicians, I loathe the mainstream media figures who are pretending to be journalists, but are actually propagandists for foreign governments, for current American corporations, multinational corporations. They're just marketing executives. So all right, look, today I got worked up on this. Let me give you guys a couple of things and then we got to do an interview. So we're still asking, some of you have participated in this and I love it. Israel has a 16-year-old American kid that they basically kidnapped. They said he looked at someone else throwing a stone, and he's now in captivity. He's got sick. He's lost 30% of his body weight. The sick so-called American officials aren't even asking for him back. They're like, no, just keep him in an Israeli dungeon for as long as you like. Where's the check? Where's the check? Marco Rubio, I know you already got it. You got $5 million from Larry Ellison just in one email we saw in 2016. You got $1 million from AIPAC, etc. Okay, that's just the ones we know. God knows how much money, how many bribes, legal bribes they funneled to you. Can you just free one American child? Can you just be the American Secretary of State once? Do your job once for Americans instead of foreign countries? Hashtag free our child. That's what we're asking. By the way, what I love about this revolution is it doesn't give a goddamn about parties. It doesn't care. I don't care if you're on the right, the left. That's an American child. Hashtag free our child. That's Marco Rubio's handles on X and Facebook and wherever else you can get him. Hey, represent us for once. Can you please release that child from the dungeons that Israel has him in? He can't even talk to his family. He can't talk to anyone. He's so dangerous. American child from Florida, who should be working at Dairy Queen right now, is so dangerous because he saw someone else throwing a stone, according to the giant liars that is the IDF. They've never told the truth in the last 2 years. I don't know if they've ever told the truth in their whole lives, but Marco Rubio is busy bowing down to them, groveling and licking their boots for money. Hashtag free our child. I know. He's not an Israeli, so his life is like barely worth anything. All right, other people wrote in with great ideas. I'm barely gonna have time for them. So let's see here. First, I'll get in what I can. I'm gonna go to Covfefe Graphic 12. I registered and own pardonmycorruption.com, gladly donated to TYT. They want to build it out, play on all the pardons and everything else. So, hey, listen, brother, I love that, thank you. Can we build another website about all the crooked pardons from the Democrats and the Republicans? Maybe, but one thing at a time, so I love it. Keep that in your back pocket. We'll let you know if we need it. But the collaborative way that we're doing this, guys, I can't get enough of it. We can't do it by ourselves. We need all of you guys. Speaking of which, let me go to Arpan, because he built this unbelievable website. We asked you guys, you named it corruptionwatch.us. And so let me give you some quotes from Arpan. He said, I feel like this will, graphic 6. I feel like this will eventually come up, so I thought I would go ahead and say it now. I do not want to monetize this app or get any money from it. I did this for the people. As a teacher, I live humbly but comfortably. I do not need any more money. I would like the app to always be free for people. However, I know TYT needs funding because you're a large organization. If ads need to be on the app to help TYT generate revenue, I understand. Okay, I'll answer that in a second, but let me finish Arpan's comment. Also, I'd like to request that a shout out be given to Corey, Project for Progress, specifically because he provided the original vision for the idea. Without his vision, the website would have never come into existence. I would also like to thank members of the Discord Project Paper Trail channel to be given a shout out because they provided me with some input as well. So first of all, Project Paper Trail on Discord, great job. Thank you, brothers and sisters. We appreciate you. Corey, I know it was your idea originally. I love it. I love that it was your idea. I love that it comes from you guys. Arpan, way to build the site. We showed it on Thursday's episode. I don't know how he did it. He just magically built this giant website overnight. And he's added a lot more to it since then. You could, I don't think it's live yet. Wait, is it live, Cara? You're gonna tell me. Corruptionwatch.us. I think it might be live. Sorry that I got confused about that in a second, but we'll get the answer to that. But what I wanted to say to Arpan is, listen, brother, I love that you do this out of goodness of your heart. I heard that you spent 13 hours on it recently. You're amazing. You're an American hero for doing that. I love that you're a teacher and you say you don't need the money. That's great. Right now, we're not raising any money, okay? And so if there is a specific need, hey guys, we need to hire this person to do X, Y, and Z, then I'll come to you guys. But right now, we don't have that need. So you don't need to give any money, etc. This is the American people working together, blood, sweat, and tears to try to get our government back. And okay, so this site's not up yet. I just couldn't remember. Not live yet, but it will be soon. We showed it to you what it looks like on Thursday. We'll show it to you again as we build upon it, etc. But for the folks, by the way, that have joined because you like this idea, well, we love you for it. And there is no Young Turks without you guys. So last thing I'll do is shout outs for those folks. Tim Haskins and Fedor Kanaya, thank you for joining through the join button on YouTube. Fat Satter, Box, and Lady AF all gifted 5 memberships on YouTube. Thank you for having open minds, open hearts, for trying to work together. Look, some people, they don't want to work with the right wing. So they, some folks have left and said, I don't want it. I only want the left wing and I want to hate the other guys and I don't care that you're right that it's Trump and the Republican politicians and Mitch McConnell and Dick Cheney, all those guys. I don't care. I want to hate the voters. Okay, then this is not the place for you. Okay, and there's certainly people on the right who say, oh, I hate the left and they do this, 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 and this, and I never want to work with the left. Then this is not the place for you, okay? But if you guys want to work together, and that's the only way we're ever going to win. The establishment is way too strong, way too powerful, too much money, too many politicians in their back pocket, the entire mainstream media in their back pocket. If we don't work together, we got no chance. But if you want to work together, and you want to create amazing things like Arpon did and Corey with his idea, so many others that I've given credit to, and we're going to keep on giving credit to, then you come here. We're now calling this show the Revolution. We'll get into that later, I'll explain it. Basically the revolution, okay? And it's a peaceful one, it's a nonviolent one, it's a democratic one. I don't mean democratic as in the party, I mean as in democracy, as in the people ruling. That's what Thomas Jefferson, James Madison, George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Paine, that's what they all talked about. This is a beautiful, unique place at the time where the people rule and not the powerful. That's what we want to go back to. We want to bring this back to the heart of what this country was supposed to do and have it be America again. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.